What's up everybody, Alexis Kimberly here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing a highly requested topic, which is how do you make the transition from relaxed hair to Texlaxed hair? I get this question, guys, literally all the time. So I figured I would make an entire video about it because in truth, it really is important to know all of the steps that you will need to take, all of the important decisions like what relaxer am I going to use, how am I going to do this thing, kinds of things that you need to decide before actually doing that. So if you're interested, definitely stay tuned to the end of this video because we're going to be talking all about that process. If you're not subscribed already, then definitely hit that red button down below, the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so that you can be alerted every time I upload a video, just like this one every Sunday. So the first thing that I want to really impress upon you guys is that this is a transition. The same way that you would transition from relaxed hair to natural hair, this is going to be a transition from your relaxed hair to your Texlaxed hair. So it's really important that you treat this and approach this with the seriousness that you would if you were transitioning out of relaxed to natural. That's first and foremost. When you have relaxed hair and you are transitioning into natural hair, there's going to be that point where your natural hair, your new growth stops and your relaxed hair begins. That line of demarcation is a very sensitive point in your hair. So envision that the same way for your relaxed hair and Texlaxed hair. You're going to have that same line of demarcation as you would if you were transitioning from relaxed hair to natural. With that line of demarcation, because it is a weak point in your hair, you really have to make sure that you are keeping your hair moisturized. But moisture isn't everything. Moisture is one component in the protein moisture balance that you have to maintain in your hair, no matter what hair process you are currently in, natural, relaxed, Texlax, whatever. Maintaining a healthy protein moisture balance is so important. So making sure that you are counterbalancing that moisture regimen that you're implementing, those deep conditioning treatments, along with regular protein treatments, making sure that those two are balanced is really going to go a long way in making sure that you are maintaining and treating that line of demarcation, that sensitive point in your hair. Now, getting into the process itself, I would say number one, more than anything, transition with a professional. I know that many of you are struggling with trying to find a stylist in your area who really knows how to do hair well and is skilled enough to perform a Texlax on your hair. But I just really would encourage you guys to do your research, and if you can do it, to travel to find somebody who is capable of performing a Texlax on your hair. And I say that with such seriousness because really, if you make a mistake here with Texlaxing and doing it yourself and you're not consistent with your relaxer time, you're not consistent with your relaxer treatments, and you have various lengths of new growth every time you get your relaxer service done, if you're not consistent, if you're not applying it evenly, you are going to end up with a mess. I'm telling you, Texlaxing is not an easy process to do because you're trying to achieve the same texture every service that you do. That's a skill, guys, that not a lot of people have. And this is not like a dig at people who do their own relaxers, but I'm just saying, like, it takes a level of professionalism, a level of training that not a lot of people are adept to do. So I would strongly recommend that you do this with a professional. But regardless of whether you decide to Texlax on your own or seek a professional to do it for you, you're going to need to decide what product, what chemical you're going to use on your hair to get those Texlax results, right? So I would say if there's a chemical that you've been using, there's a product, a brand that you've been using that works for you, that your hair has not negatively responded to, you have not experienced breakage from, then definitely continue to use that product in your transition to Texlaxed hair. But if you're seeking a new formula, if you're seeking a new product, at the very least, there is one thing that you have to make sure that you keep consistent, and that is the active ingredient inside of the relaxer itself. Most relaxers are hydroxide formula based. Either it's sodium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide, guanidine hydroxide. There are a bunch of different variations of hydroxide, but you need to make sure that you are staying within the hydroxide family if that was the active ingredient in your previous relaxer. You need to make sure that you are not mixing those active ingredients. Like I mentioned, hydroxide relaxers are the most common active ingredient in relaxers, but there is also thioglycolates relaxants that also straighten hair. Those are more commonly used in like wave nouveaux or kind of like curly perm formulas, but it's just really important, guys, especially if you're doing this on your own and not with a professional. Read the ingredients on the labels of these relaxers, of these chemicals, because if you previously used a hydroxide relaxer and you pick up a product that is a thioglycolate based relaxer, your hair is going to be messed up because those chemicals don't react well together and you are sure to experience damage that way. Compare the two active ingredients before you put anything on your head, because you need to make sure that you are being consistent with the active ingredient that you are applying. Okay, so now that you actually know what active ingredient was in your previous relaxer and you know that you need to use that same active ingredient in your Texlax product, you actually need to decide what product you're going to go with to achieve these Texlaxed results. Are you going to go with a no-lye relaxer? Are you going to go with a lye relaxer? Are you going to go with a low-lye relaxer? Are you going to go with a product branded as a texturizer? Are you going to go with a texture softener? I mean, there are all different kinds of products on the market, and if you would like for me to make a more extended video on the differences between these products, I definitely will, but just leave a comment down below letting me know that that's something that you're interested in. But essentially, your question ultimately is going to be what product is going to leave me with the texture that I want. And your consideration should be, okay, well, the strength, right? The strength of the relaxer. Is it a high pH relaxer, meaning a high strength relaxer? Maybe you don't want to consider that because you're going for a Texlax result that's not going to bring your hair bone straight. No-lye relaxers tend to process slower than lye relaxers because lye relaxers tend to have a higher pH, a higher strength than no-lye relaxers. Low-lye relaxers, though, come with their own downsides in that they will leave calcium deposits on your hair strands that tend to dry out your hair. Do you want to go with a product that's branded as a texturizer? Keep in mind that there are still the same active ingredients as those in a relaxer, but it's just more diluted than a regular relaxer. So really just doing your research is important on which product you are going to go forward with in achieving your Texlax results. And of course, then that begs the question of, okay, well, how are you going to achieve these results, right? There are so many different ways to achieve Texlax results, and I will link my Texlaxing video up above where I explain in more detail the different ways you can achieve Texlax results. But a question for you should be, okay, well, how long am I going to leave the relaxer on my hair? How long was I leaving the relaxer on my hair previously? Am I going to shorten that time? Am I going to dilute the relaxer with different oils and butters or conditioners? Do I want to coat my hair with oils and kind of form a barrier between my hair and the relaxer? What technique am I going to use? Another thing that you should consider before deciding to Texlax. And then another thing that you should really think about and consider is, are you really ready to Texlax your hair? I mean, is this something that you feel like you can manage? Texlax hair is no walk in the park, people. It's really not. It's a lot of care and attention. You have to make sure that you are detangling your hair properly. You are going to have moments of frustration with straight hair and the humidity destroying your straight styles. That's super frustrating for me, I know. And just overall, it's definitely a lot more difficult to maintain than it is bone straight relaxed hair. But I will say that is a lot easier than my 4C natural hair was. So really understanding if you're ready for that change, in that new level of maintenance that you're going to need to implement before you decide to actually do this thing. So I guess the short answer to the question of whether or not you can Texlax relaxed hair is yes. But there are so many things that you need to consider before doing so, and you really need to make sure that you're doing your research, that you're finding somebody who is capable and just skilled enough to do your Texlax hair for you. I mean, there are just so many things that you need to consider before deciding to take that leap, because I will say that it's not going to be an easy journey. Like I said, it is a transition, and you are fooling yourself if you think that you can just go from relaxed straight hair to Texlax and it not be, you know, a transition period for your hair. Lines of demarcation are real. And in the Texlax world, it's very difficult to maintain the consistent texture every Texlax process. So combine that difficulty with the fact that you've got this straight hair at your ends that are inevitably going to be more subject to breakage. So these are just all things to consider. I hope that that made things a little bit clearer for you and just gave you a foundation to work from, and just a kind of launching point, I guess, to making the decision of whether you want to transition from relaxed to Texlax hair. I personally love my Texlaxed hair. I love the volume that I have. I love the definition that I get with my braid outs and twist outs. I love the manageability that I experienced. It's way easier to detangle my hair than it ever was when I was natural. So I just think that I have the best of both worlds with my Texlax hair. But I also, guys, I also have a really great stylist who really knows what the hell she's doing. So I don't take that for granted, and I know that that's not something that everybody has. So I would just, again, caution you to really just do your research and make sure that this is the right decision for you before you take the leap. So if you found this video helpful, then definitely give it a big thumbs up. I hope that this was helpful for you. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, then definitely do so. We are building a community. We are over 2,000 followers now, subscribers now, so I'm so excited, and I have to thank all of you guys for just joining my big loving family here. You guys, your comments are just so sweet and loving, and the ladies and gents who are here on this channel commenting and supporting one another, it really is unique, and I'm just very grateful for each and every one of you. So I just hope you know that, and until next time, I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.